French Shalom and greetings to you all. Tempest fugit. Time flies. Hanukkah's over. Winter solstice is gone. We're in the midst of the 12 days of Christmas. So how's your Christmas going? Have you been on the naughty or nice list? Isn't it kind of like Yom Kippur? But we try and reverse everything that put us on the naughty list throughout the year so we can get off. Everyone's actually on the nice list. Look into your hearts. You'll see. Now, it is the time of the year that brings promise with growing light. Knowledge that new life is just around the corner, and miracles and magic are all around and happening every day. So enjoy the Christmas season. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year, all our troubles will be out of sight. Let's all have a merry little Christmas. Now, one can only hope that our troubles will be out of sight. The New Year's around the corner. We're on the second last reading of the book of Genesis. In a couple of weeks, we're going to begin the book of names, Shemot, which names play a dominant role. We know it better as Exodus, and perhaps that gives you a different clue as to what it's about. Now, to many, we're in the midst of another Exodus, as Jews from every nation in the world leave what was their homelands, now all riddled by rampant anti-Semitism. They seek a new home. And of course, the ancestral home of Israel is always welcoming to them. And it turns out that many diaspora Jews have been buying places in Israel, which then sit empty most of the time. Drives the costs up, keeps the locals out of the market. They should not have to flee their homes anymore. And I fear that it is purely a timing game. In time, they will have no choice, simply repeating that there is less outrage over hate crimes against Jews, that the percentage increase is alarming, or that it appears governments, law enforcement, and media don't care, is not going to change anything. Every day there's more and more. Only you can change things. And there is no one who's going to be coming to your aid. But as the Exodus story back then was a secondary story in many ways to the book we're going to be moving to in 2 weeks. Names are the real story. We're going to examine them when we read it. Names have actually been quite significant to date in the Bible. We're going to look at a name today that has ripples that run throughout history. And this reaffirms that the Jewish Bible did not smooth out the human foibles of its characters. Some are admirable, some not so much. It is a commentary that we seek that tries to explain the good and the bad. We've been given a light through which to see and think for ourselves. Commentary is good, but use it to supplement your own reading, your own research, your own conclusions, as well you should still continue to be doing today, which most people do not. From the time Hanukkah began to when it ended, we watched light increase. It is a holiday about light. We saw the candles grow in intensity. As each day we added another one, a reminder of life. We got to watch them burn and notice things. And every day I watched the candles, I noticed which ones burned quickest or slowest and how. I checked them against the list of what each candle represented. Those are messages. We're often given messages, and sometimes we pay attention and sometimes we do not. If you haven't been paying attention, pay a little more attention to the messages in your life. We've been reading about somebody who was given all kinds of messages through people's dreams. As the lights burned on, we were reminded about the role that light plays in our lives. This season is the time of the search for light, and Hanukkah and the solstice are about the light increasing in our lives. And as this year ends, a new one begins. The inexorable movement we try so hard to control instead of just enjoy. Let's say goodbye to this past year. Let's hope for a better one. Let the year end with all its curses. Let the new year begin with all its blessings. Now, many do not know how to take each year. So let me suggest, may we hold lovingly in our thoughts those who suffer from tyranny, subjection, cruelty, injustice. Let's work every day towards the alleviation of their suffering. May we recognize our solidarity and understanding, as instructed in the Torah, with the stranger, the alien, the outcast, the downtrodden, the abused, the deprived. No human being should be treated as other. We're all connected. We're all the same. Our common humanity is what weaves us together in one fabric of mutuality, one garment of destiny. May we pursue the biblical vision of peace, that we might live harmoniously with each other, side by side, respecting differences, cherishing diversity, with no one exploiting the other, and nobody exploiting the weak, each living without fear, each revering divinity in every human soul. Now, these were basically thoughts from the 13th century, so applicable 8 centuries later. May we struggle against institutional injustice, free those from oppression and contempt, and as I implore every week, that we act with purity of heart and mind, despise none, defraud none, hate none. We should cherish all, honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. And as I also ask every week, may all people know peace in this year. May we nurture kindness and love everywhere we go. And while the spiritual symbiosis of all living beings still too often remains hidden, we can be elevated to that lofty height at which humankind becomes one with the totality of life, even with vegetation and inanimate existence, as we were so long ago. So let me offer this prayer for the new year. May it be your will, O Lord our God, this new year be a peaceful year for us, for all the world. May it be your will, O Lord our God, that we be blessed with all we need in the new year. May it be your will, O Lord our God, that we be blessed with happiness. May the new year be filled with an abundance of blessings. May the new year be filled with love and peace. May the new year be a good year for us all. And again, in 2 months, on February 17th, you get a do-over when the Chinese New Year hits. This year is going to be the year of the horse, which begins the second half of the 12-year cycle. This year it's a fire horse. You only get that once every 60 years. And we're going to address what that new year heralds as we get closer. But for now, may all your hopes, dreams, and wishes come true, my friends. And remember the words of the great poet Rabbi in his poem about days gone by, a poem that symbolizes reunion, not parting. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind, should old acquaintance be forgot and old lang syne, for old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. And I think we can all use and offer others a cup of kindness for days gone by, my friend. It's a wonderful year to each and every one of you coming. And every one of you will touch other people, and I hope their years are great too. Now, whether you've just celebrated Hanukkah or still celebrating Christmas, or the forebearer holiday of both, the Roman festival of Saturnalia, when the solstice celebrated the ascension of Saturn as Capricorn's ruler, celebrated by feasting and gift-giving and increasing light. So super Saturnalia to one and all. Enjoy the miracles of life. Let's all come together to reinforce the rededication of our own temples, our hearts, our faith. Just like when we come together as a group to honor and pray and observe as a community, a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith. And we represent all faith, and we welcome any and all faith. Love, we welcome any and all love, because we are a fellowship, a true chavura, as we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all. this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach. As we share and bring light, we keep fear at bay. And even though together, we're individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her their own way. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody, physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, any way at all to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov, Umenayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Umenayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. Now we support each other in this community. Let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to honor and converse with whatever you happen to believe in. Because we all believe in something. It's part of your kavanah, your intention. It's what you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. And goodwill and intention are the roots of what you control, of what you correct. It is your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives. And it is goodwill, energy, light, that we send to help heal whoever needs it. Healing and renewal is for everyone because it floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. Think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam, that's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. And a part of the healing of the world is when we send thought and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everyone. They don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere, and special thoughts and prayers for those in need of assistance. We do this prayer always as the prayer for healing, but it's for everybody in your heart. Pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them. We want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us, and for those close to us. For the darling fairy godmother stuck in purgatory, but hopefully will return soon. For my favorite doctor, Leo. For Corey and Alan and Sherry, who I'm seeing this week. Victoria, who shocked me the other day. For Gabby and Jessica. For dear Carson. For the MW, whose books have me captivated. And Snoopy. For the elf, who I'm sure is exhausted from her Christmas work at the North Pole. For Roberta and Ruth. For Shelley and Jeffy. For Winston and Inura, who I was honored to have seen for dinner. For Alana, hospitalized again. We always pray for her. For her mind, her spirit, her body. She's a doll. For John and Fern, for John and Maria, for Gloria, for Doria, for Connie and Ronnie, for birthday Tally, for Maya and Nina, Danny, for Stephen, for Dale, for all those suffering and in need. Let's not forget to include all the familiars of our lives, all our sacred animal friends everywhere, for everyone you know in need and for the whole world, for Rosemary. Friends, we pray for those who need prayer. The whole world needs prayer right now, more than ever before. But it is the kindness, the healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. Me. Avotenu. Makor Chabracha. Limotenu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage, make our lives a blessing, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed, because this is the great prayer for healing. Call upon God to heal as He healed before. Misha Baruch, may He who blessed, and all healing's a blessing. Let's also all hope that Jimmy heals. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now this week we read Vayegesh, and he came near. Judah goes to talk to Joseph, still not suspecting who he may be, and he recounts events. Genesis 44:18. And Judah went over to him and said, "Please, my lord, let your servant speak something in my lord's ear. Let your anger not flare at your servant, because you're like Pharaoh himself." We know that's true. He is like Pharaoh himself. He repeats how Joseph demanded the young brother come down and how Jacob resisted because he only cared for 2 sons. Joseph, who was dead, and Benjamin, Joseph's full brother. But due to ensuing starvation, Jacob relented and sent them back. What a loving father. Everything is about him. If anything happens to Benjamin, woe is me. Genesis 44:29. If you take this one from me as well, and some harm happens to him, then you'll bring down my gray hair in wretchedness to Sheol. Sheol. Now in the Hebrew Bible, it is the underworld place of stillness and darkness which lies after death. Within the Bible, there are few, often brief and quite nondescript mentions of Sheol, seemingly describing it as a place where both the righteous and the unrighteous dead go, regardless of their moral choices in life. The Bible itself has very few references to life after death. Sheol, the bowels of the earth, is portrayed as the place of the dead. But in most instances, Sheol seems to be more a metaphor for oblivion than an actual place where the dead live. I know that sounds funny, where the dead live and retain consciousness. The notion of resurrection is very rarely seen, and it actually appears in 2 late biblical sources, Daniel 12 and Isaiah 25. Now, the concept of life, death, heaven, hell, reincarnation has gripped mankind for centuries. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. 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 Now in Malta, there is a church door labeled Heaven's Door. I've knocked on that door. Nobody answered, but I knocked. During biblical times, there was little attention paid to any kind of afterlife. It came much later in Christian and Hellenistic times. People occupied themselves more with what happens when we go. Book 6 of the Aeneid has one of the great descriptions of the underworld that has influenced so much of even current thought. Now, during this opening book of the Bible, we witnessed the descent of man. Got to know a family, not unlike the families we know. The good, the bad, the choices we make. No one is immune from possible descent. Even the great ruler of Egypt, Joseph, showed he too was human as he toyed with his brothers. We saw last week. He listened in on them, spoke through an interpreter, not letting them know he actually understood their language. He manipulated their packs. He accused them of being spies. He forced them to go back home and not to return without bringing their missing brother Benjamin, who he also accuses of being a spy. He knows they're not spies. There's a man who leads a life of danger. Everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. Every move he makes, another chance he takes. Odds are he won't live to see tomorrow. Now, he knows they're not spies. They don't have to fear, but they don't know any of that. Their fear is real, even if nothing else is. He even keeps one brother as a hostage to guarantee the return of the others, not knowing that his father would gladly sacrifice that hostage son if he had enough food. And Joseph watched as the brothers speculated that perhaps this was their karma coming back on them for their treatment of him all those years ago, when they threw him in the pit to die and then sold him not knowing that that's who they are here with. He let them twist and turn in their own guilt. He watched and waited in the wings, watching them, watching their actions, their reactions, listening in on them, seeing their feelings, hearing their actual honesty. Look from the wings at the play you were staging, while my guitar gently weeps as I'm sitting here doing nothing but aging. Still my guitar gently weeps. Now, these are the brothers who sold him, who ignored his cries for help as he begged and implored them. The great reveal, and we finish this book as the year ends and begin the new year in slavery in Egypt, Mitzrayim, meaning confinement, where so many of us still are. All this deception's going on. But Joseph is not the cruel, vengeance-seeking person that we may suspect, or that the brothers think he would be, although who would blame him? Who wouldn't want to get vengeance for the actions of the brothers? Happy to see him die and profit off it, spending almost 13 years in prison. If anybody was entitled to see karma take place, it would be Joseph. Genesis 45:1. Joseph was not able to restrain himself in front of everyone who was standing by him, and he called, "Take everyone out from my presence." Not a man stood with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers, and he wept out loud. And Egypt heard, and Pharaoh's house heard. Well, that's some weeping. All of Egypt heard. Pharaoh's house heard, but of course they lived by each other. But this is, the emphasis is on how touched he was. Joseph said to his brothers, "Ani Yosef." I am Joseph. And he says it in Hebrew so that the brothers understand. Ani Yosef. I'm Joseph. Wow. Can you imagine the brothers' reaction? Here he is, their dead brother, who could have demanded revenge, but instead he wept for the joy at being reunited with those who threw him on the rubbish heap of history. He, like his uncle Esau before him, understood the big picture, saw the forest for the trees, forgave, moved forward. He even told his brothers not to worry. Genesis 45:4. Joseph said to his brothers, "Come over to me." They went over, and he said, "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold to Egypt. Now don't be sad. Let there be no anger in your eyes because you sold me here, because God sent me before you to preserve life. For it's 2 years that the famine is in the land, and for 5 more years there'll be no plowing and harvest." He stood in front of Pharaoh at 30, went through 7 good years and now 2 years of famine. He's 39. There's 5 years of famine left. He still has work to do. God sent me ahead of you to provide a remnant for you in the earth and to keep you alive as a big surviving community. And now it wasn't you who sent me here, but God. And he made me into a father to Pharaoh and a lord to all his house and a ruler in all the land of Egypt. He is now wise. He knows the brothers were just a tool of God, just as he knew that, it was God who told him what to say about dreams. He wasn't doing them himself. He was chosen. God sent him to save the family. God picks people all the time to save humanity. But he also says something no one else in the Bible ever said, and that people don't really talk about enough, but they really should, because it's quite an incredible sentence. He says, "God made me into a father to Pharaoh." Now, what did that mean? And what does it mean historically? Who was this man who says he is father to Pharaoh? I personally love when lore and history converge. One of the great biblical studies is in the use of words. When the same word is used, and they are connected, right? Because there's a whole study on it that if you use a word here and it's the same word there, there's a connection between them. As we saw with Moses and Noah, tabah, they're the only time those two words are used to represent the crafts that each was in. So interesting. That exact same phrase occurs written with an Egyptian counterpart. And it's the only time that phrase is used ever, father to Pharaoh. And it was used in describing someone named Yuya. Was Yuya Joseph? Do we know who the biblical Joseph now was? Yuya is the only one we know in all history given the title father to Pharaoh. We also know he was of foreign origin and was thought to be Semitic. It's speculated that his name, which we know from the writing of it, was what it was in deference to his god, Jehovah. His daughter, Tai, became the great wife of Amenhotep III, one of the greatest pharaohs of the 18th dynasty, which therefore made him father to Pharaoh. And the grandfather of Akhenaten, who I think is perhaps the most interesting of all the pharaohs, who was the father to Tutankhamun, who tried to introduce monotheism to the Egyptians, and who Sigmund Freud suggested was the real Moses. Now that's a history worth examining, all from one phrase. Now Pharaoh's excited for Joseph. He sends for his family. He gives them the best land, welcomes them as his own. They come down to Egypt to survive, with God telling Jacob that he will lead them down, but he will lead them out again. The 400 years of slavery is about to begin. Friends, where history and mythology intersect, there is magic. Yes, the world is sacred. So is everything. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free. Be free. Honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together. We celebrate with each other. We love each other. We share this right together, men and women equally. Let's all send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, healing to all who need it. Please do learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe. Remember, we set in motion all that happens in our lives. It is our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect. It's all linked. Always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person that you have wronged. And we've all wronged people, and we need to ask forgiveness. But we need to do so with sincerity, accountability, with vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people, in the world as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind. Because the deepest source of real power lies in the consciousness and ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. And be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief. Never accept shame as a natural state, because whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together, we learn together, we help each other, because we're each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives. So find them. Tell them what they mean. You're never alone on your journey. Listen to the voice of God as he talks to you. Remember, your connection to God and all that's been created in body and soul and mind and spirit, it's a part of you, it's a part of me. It's a part of all of us. forever together. Now, if it was not the best year for you, in fact, I think it has been a pretty rough year for an awful lot of people. Let's hope next year's a better year. But it's all in how you look at things. And there's always a bright side. If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten. That's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're feeling in the dumps, don't be silly chumps. Just purse your lips and whistle, that's the thing. Always look on the bright side of life. And there always is a bright side to life. It's like being a number 7 for those of you who know your Enneagram. Look on the bright side. Well, thank you for joining me. Have a great week, a wonderful new year. Shabbat shalom, my friends, and blessings to you all. Take care.